Are you ready? What's my name? What's my name? Say Kareem Ali. Say Kareem Ali. You're listening to
Are you serious?
the Hip Hop Debate Show.
Okay, so hear me out.
The official podcast of Kareem Ali. In about 2 seconds, Kareem Ali will begin to speak. Started. Kareem Ali TV. The Are You Serious podcast debating various topics through the lens of hip hop culture. We got Slangston Hughes, MC poet, activist, Pittsburgh, PA, and we got one of the dopest MCs we've heard in Baltimore City, Martina Lynch. Tina turned up, dope as hell, super lyricist. And today we're talking about who is the greatest female MC of all time, and there are 4 archetypes that most MCs derive from. One of them is MC Light. Another one is Queen Latifah. Another one is the great Lauryn Hill. And then we also have, who I think most modern female MCs seem to be based on, at least in the mainstream, Little Kim herself. Martina, who would you say is the greatest female MC of all time, in your opinion?
Right, so of all time for me, it was hard to choose between Lauryn and MC Light, but I'm going with MC Light as number 1. Just because she dominates with the bars and she's still dominating to this day.
So you think MC Light is more bar heavy or has better bars than Lauryn Hill?
I'm not gonna say she has better bars. I feel like their bars is kind of like on the same level. It's actually they're really different. It's just the fact that MC Light has more bars. I feel like I just feel like she got more bars, like not better bars, just more.
Maybe it's because she was only rapping and Lauryn was doing rapping and singing.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like Lauryn Hill got the rap in the R&B on lock, and I feel like that's what makes her different, and that still makes her like one of the best of all time. But it's like I feel like MC Light was just straight hip hop, all bars.
Martina, how would you? You went straight to Lauryn and MC Light, but how would you rank the other two? Are we negating Little Kim's influence or Queen Latifah's impact?
Right now, not at all, because Queen Latifah, like she always, she stood for unity. She had the UNITY chat. She had a lot of bangers, and it's just like I don't know, Lauryn Hill and MC Light, they just resonate a little harder. Resonate a little more with me, but Queen Latifah, she definitely did her thing. Lil Kim, she was bad. She rapped for a whole nother league of women, making women feel comfortable being sexy and things like that. And I think that's cool too. But I just know that I just don't feel like she was just as personally connected to her music just because of her just not writing everything. And I know that the other artists kind of was like more attached to their music, more like personally connected. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
So I'm gonna have to actually agree with you. And most people would think I would actually put MC Light as the greatest female MC of all time. One, because her lyricism was very high in that time period in the 80s and the early 90s. The greatest MC that most people thought was Rakim, and MC Light was considered like a female version of Lady Rakim in that time period. The thing she did with when she got to the point where she did Roughneck, like All the Men, we loved that song. That came out like in '93, the summer of '93. You probably weren't alive yet. You were still your father's shoulder.
Right, I wasn't alive. But Roughneck, I was actually thinking a remix of that. Like I might need to revet.
You could, and you should, and you should. Let me think. Let me. Let somebody I know film the video for you. My man Kester Dakota. It'll be really dope. I do want to say something about Queen Latifah. She was almost like a female version of KRS-One back at that time. UNITY, Ladies First. I can't remember some of the other songs, but I still listen to them on the regular. The thing with Queen Latifah is there were a few songs that I don't even think she wrote. I think that Tretch may have wrote for her. And as far as so that kind of disqualified her from the GOAT discussion. Little Kim, she had a whole album where Biggie wrote for her, and I don't think she's been the same since. She did have that album that came out in 2004. And we got my man Delmar coming on the show right now. You're late, brother. You're late. This is my guy, Delmar Battle MC from Northern Virginia, smoke-filled room, dope MC, dope filmmaker. It's all good, brother. We're happy to have you on the show. We're discussing right now the greatest female MC, and we have 4 archetypes, and we're gonna we're gonna rank them. And early it was MC Light, Lauryn Hill, Queen Latifah, and Little Kim. And the sister Martina Lynch. I want to introduce you to Martina Lynch, a great MC from Baltimore City, Tina Turned Up, and also the lyrical Leviathan, Slick Vic Low, Slankster Hughes, poet, MC, activist out of Pittsburgh, PA.
Peace, King. How you living?
So,
peace.
Myself and Martina, just to get you caught up, we have ranked MC Light as the #1 female MC, with probably Lauryn Hill #2. That was difficult. We had a whole show about Lauryn Hill. We just felt like maybe Lauryn didn't do enough over time because she split it between rapping and singing. We're gonna go to you first, Delmar. What do you think? Who's the greatest female MC of all time, and how would you rank them as far as 1 through 4?
Missy Elliot. Missy Elliot is the greatest female MC of all time.
There you go.
The
MC?
Yes. The reason being, and okay, so let me give you my list of my personal favorite female rappers.
Okay.
Rod Digger, Foxy Brown, Bahamadia. These people are great MCs to me, but some of them make terrible music. When I think about great MCs, and you know, as MCs, we tend to do this a lot. We tend to ignore the fact that we should expect people to also be able to create good music. So if I have to, and one, I firmly agree, Lauryn Hill did not do enough. She did not do enough. Despite the Fugees album being a classic and her only attempt being a classic, she didn't do enough rapping on that album for me to count that as a great rap album.
Can't disagree with that completely.
So is she a great talent? Yes. But I don't think she did enough work to be in there. Rod Digger is one of my personal favorites, but even she herself, she did not do enough to be there. You know, when you look at Rod Digger's body of work, it's a bunch of Outsiders and Busta Rhymes and Flip Mode Squad features.
It's hard to out-rap Rod Digger.
It's very hard to out-rap her. But if I have to say greatest MC, female MC, I respect the MC Light decision. I would respect MC Light, Queen Latifah, and Missy Elliot. Anybody else outside of those groupings, aside from maybe the Little Kims and the Foxies and maybe the new generation nod to Nicki, I respect that. I wouldn't choose it, but I respect MC Light because one, MC Light can rap, and she made great music. And she came from an era where it wasn't based on ghostwriters and things like that. Like, you knew that she definitely had a hand in the creation of her music. So I respect MC Light, but my personal vote would be Missy.
I got to get to the bottom of this. Why Missy Elliott clearly is not as lyrically adept as some of the other sisters that you named. Why would you put Missy Elliott as the greatest female MC? What's your criteria as an MC? I mean, as a songwriter, as someone who makes great music videos, for sure.
Music. She makes great music. She was making great music without male support. Think about this. Foxy had who? Nas, The Firm, and Jay. Kim had who? Biggie Smalls. She came in an era where men dominated music. And not only did men dominate the music, Timbaland doesn't count. Timbaland was a producer. Timbaland does not count.
He was a mentor, though.
But she was also
a mentor.
She was a respected songwriter prior to being an artist for him.
I'm not gonna take nothing away from the sister.
And quite honestly, a lot of the tracks that people thought Timbaland were producing on her first 2 albums, she was producing.
That's what I'm saying. So the reason why I give Missy so much credit, she was able to hang on records with certain people. Like, to me, Ludacris is one of the best rappers of our time. He doesn't get enough credit. Missy Elliott would hang on a record with Ludacris. So you have to be able to, these are people who, when Ludacris dropped a record, that was the summer. Let's be honest. So when you have someone on a record like that with you, and one thing that I give Missy Elliott credit for being clever. Sometimes we don't give the lyrical talent of being clever enough credit. She may not have been the most intricate or technical individual, but she was very clever. And that's why I say, you know what?
Do you have an example?
Man,
I'll put you in a spot. Now I'm messing with you.
You did. But let me. No.
You say some shit like that, you got to come prepared if you're gonna say that she's the greatest.
Let me quantify that, qualify that. You know. So we have, let's say, okay, I'll pick a random song. I'm not even gonna pick one where it could have been. I like to get to know you, so I could show you. Put the on you, like I told you. Give me all your numbers so I can phone you. Your girl acting stink, then call me over. Not on the bed player, lay me on the sofa. You hear that cadence?
Yeah, I
You
ain't gonna
hear
lie,
that
like,
cadence?
but I get what he's saying though. Just because it's like, even though
Not a
Missy
good
Elliott not
example.
so lyrical, she did like. I get what he's saying about like her like making good music because it's like
you hear the cadence. Listen,
One second. What, are you serious? I mean, she's a great. Maybe she's a superior songwriter in terms of melody, a superior musician. But is she a better MC? I don't know.
No, not a better MC though.
I feel the win. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Begin.
Again, I sit on hills like Loren until the rain starts.
You can't tell me, Omega. You can't tell me in real time in 1998 or 97 that you were sitting there thinking like, this is some bullshit. Come on, Omega, cut it out, man.
Okay, let me tell you something. In 1997, right, I had first picked up my pen. 1997, I first picked up my pen. No, I wouldn't have quantified that because I was listening to anything Walker's Records could produce, any of that. That's all I listened to.
So your brain is aged to the point where you're not thinking clearly anymore. You have early onset.
No. What it is that what I've grown to understand as I've become a better artist, that there are other things we also, you know me, brother, you know my body of work. I am a lyricist. There's no joking here. I am
not going to disagree with that.
I am a lyricist. Triple entendres, all that.
That shirt you got on is fire too. What the what type of animal did you kill to make this shit?
This is definitely from
one of the Jetsons
from
made
the motherland. This is part of my coming to America gift package that I gave for being
for General Azizi's bastard son.
Wrestling signed this for me, brother.
And let me get a chance for Lyrical Leviathan to respond. I know he has something to say on this topic, especially since you threw that curveball. I shouldn't even let you in the room with that shit, but I'm glad you're here.
Oh man, oh boy, to quote Sam Beckett, oh boy. So I'm gonna need to put on my Shambhala lenses for this one, because I feel as though I'm about to kind of blow people's minds with my approach to this discussion. But I gotta admit though that Omega threw a really quality curveball with the Missy Elliott entry to the conversation, and I appreciate the outside of the box thinking. Because I'm kind of about to really shake it up. Now, at the top, I'm pretty much in agreement with Kareem and Martina that, I think you can kind of split lyrical hairs with MC Lyte and Lauryn Hill in terms of technical skills, and MC Lyte in terms of amount of output in bars and the time period she was doing it in a mostly testosterone dominated era of hip hop. She was bringing the same fire and energy for whoever wanted it. Didn't matter what your gender was. Like, you didn't test Lyte. Lyte is a rock, as in like, I'm gonna drop the weight on you. So I would have to say MC Lyte and Lauryn Hill, that's kind of like 1A, 1B. I would give it to Lyte with a slight edge because of amount of bars, and she still can do it at that level, quite honestly. And if you go back and listen to the album that the single I Can't Make a Mistake came off of, and that particular song and those verses, like, she was still, that was like early 2000s, she was still like light as a rock, still lyrically crushing it. Now, I refute, I Matimbo, Dikembe Mutombo style block the idea. No. I reject the very premise of Lil' Kim even being qualified for this discussion. When we're talking about the G.W.O.A.T, the greatest woman wordsmith of all time, Lil' Kim does not qualify because her best work was Hardcore, which was a bunch of Biggie verses that was given to Lil' Kim to say in a female's voice. The patterns, the cadence, the rhyme structure is identical. And even some will cite that her best verse was the Quiet Storm remix verse. And it has been stated multiple times that that was a leftover verse from Hardcore that was written by Biggie. So
what about the Put Your Lighters Up? That album was pretty good. That was her work.
We don't know that.
But
we don't
was
know
it?
that. Some of that might have been Sauce Money. Some of that might have been Jay. Like there are multiple ghostwriters who wrote for Lil' Kim. And even if you compare, like, okay, if these were verses she wrote later on, they don't compare to those Hardcore verses. They don't compare to the verses that she got from the crusty Biggie notebook that she had under her bed. Like, doesn't count. Like, and that's the same.
Crusty,
like, you don't qualify. Like you don't qualify if you don't write your own bars. If you don't write at least 95% of your own bars, you don't qualify for the G.W.O.A.T conversation. So same thing with Foxy Brown. Like, people always cite Foxy Brown ain't write her own bars most of the time. Queen Pen ain't write her own bars. Emil ain't write her own bars. It's the same thing with Lil' Kim. Same thing with so many of the prominent main industry women MCs right now. Like,
Cardi B. I'm gonna give Martina a chance to respond. What do you have to say about? Martina, what do you have to say about the Lil' Kim omission? And what do you have to say about
omission? You got the Lil' Kim-esque hair, so I'm curious.
Martina, I want to say, what do you have to say about this, Martina? The introduction of Missy Elliot, maybe Raw Digger, and the Lil' Kim omission.
Right. I kind of get what he's saying about, like, Missy Elliott being a dope songwriter, because it's like how he was saying, a lot of MCs don't make good music.
Facts.
That's true. But it's like, I still stand on, like, MC Lyte being, like, the best as far as lyricism. But Missy Elliott, I definitely give her props. Like, she was dominating, she made good music. But as far as the lyricism, I think MC Lyte definitely got that. Lil' Kim, she definitely can't really be up there with the rest of the rappers just because of the fact that she hasn't wrote most of her music. And like Langston was saying, that's a lot of what's going on in the industry now. Like, you got the Cardi B's, you got the City Girls, you got, Nicki Minaj, she writes her music, I think. Nicki Minaj.
I think.
You have to think about it. It's been a question, She's a Lil' Kim archetype.
Right, but she says she writes her music, so I guess we got take her word for it. But Cardi, the City Girls, they on their Lil' Kim tip, and I just feel like I'm not going to down them for, like, wanting to have a career in music, but at the same time, I just don't think they should get the same respect as, like, artists who have been putting in the footwork and the hard work to write their music.
Now, just to my defense, when I came on here, Kareem, you said greatest female rapper of all time. It was not specified as a lyricist. That is a completely different conversation to me. So I just...
No, it's okay. I like the fact you came on here. It could be whatever you want to mean. Sometimes I like it that way to trigger people on purpose. But I understand.
Lyricists are different.
Yeah, true.
Different.
Usually when we say MC, we're talking about the art form, and lyricism is weighed more heavily than other elements. But being a songwriter is probably the best talent that anybody can have, in my opinion.
To the Missy Elliott point, my initial reaction is absolutely, are you serious? But hear me out though, and let me proceed through the rest of my breakdown, because I actually, though I refute and reject Lil' Kim, I raise you instead two other MCs that we have not talked about but should not be left out. I raise you Bahamadia, and I raise you Roxanne Shante. I would actually rank Roxanne Shante third behind MC Lyte and Lauryn Hill.
Why?
Just because
she's the battle MC?
The sheer level of skill, the ability at a very young age to stand face to face with other MCs, most of them dudes and destroy them, and her ability to create dope songs on wax. Like Roxanne Shante took no backseat to nobody at the time that she was coming out with those records. And even though Lord Finesse may have wrote a thing here or there for, that was only because that was just the regular thing. Lord Finesse wrote some stuff for everybody in the Deuce group. But she could hold her own writing-wise and MC-wise. I would put 4, I would say, actually, I would put Queen Latifah there. Because of all the reasons stated.
But Tretch wrote some things for Queen Latifah.
No, I've never heard that was true. I've actually never heard for myself that was true, that was just a rumor just because they were
I love
cool
Queen Latifah. I think her message was very important, more important than the imagery that someone like a Little Kim or Nicki Minaj presents. I wish Queen Latifah had did more. But bad
so
Ali for not mentioning Roxanne Shante. She should definitely be in the
conversation. Even if Tretch did pin a thing here and there, I would say it wasn't more than 95% of her lyrical output.
Okay.
Like Little
she
Kim,
still has to deliver it. She made great songs like Delmar Omega, great songs from Queen Latifah back in the day. She was the MC that made
powerful
good music as well.
And then I would put 5, I would put Bahamadia, because if you don't know about Bahamadia was one of the illest MCs, period, at that time. Like her verses was completely sunning niggas.
Omega
has Are You Serious? Go ahead, brother.
No. I did mention Bahamadia.
You did mention it.
I said Bahamadia. Okay, so I agree with just about everything except for Roxanne Shante, solely because we have a thing. Hip hop is aged considerably. So now we have generations of it. I personally feel like the bookends of hip hop people cannot compete with the skill level of some of the people in the middle. So when you say Roxanne Shante, yeah, she was fire then, but even the dudes back then weren't fire for real. So it's like, who was her scale? So when I think about lyrical complexity, you got to take it to a stage where we know how to do different things now. Would Roxanne Shante be fire in '98?
I would say she was a level ahead of her peers at the time.
Okay.
Let me say this though. Let me say this before you get there. I mean, you have to give people respect for what they did in their time in their era. It's like a sports argument. There are people now that are more skilled as basketball players than they were back in the day, but that doesn't mean that players back in the day couldn't necessarily compete then, or if they came up now. So if Roxanne Shante was a kid now, she came up in Martina Lynch's era, would she have developed some of the same skills that Martina has now? Or if Martina was born in 1974, would she be the Roxanne Shante of that day? She wouldn't be as developed as she is now because she wouldn't have been exposed to it. So you got to give her credit for her dominance in her time period.
But okay, hear me out though. Honorable mention that should be mentioned that has not been mentioned. The Brat. I gotta raise you. The Brat. The Brat should be a part of this conversation. The Brat deserves top 5 in this discussion, absolutely. And I gotta give Missy Elliot her credit, because with those first 2 albums, I was disgusted by the low level of lyricism on them. But her ability to produce, her creativity, her cleverness, she directed most of her own videos on those records. However, when her 3rd album came out, Timbaland testifies she came into the studio for those sessions with a brand new notebook of new rhymes. It blew his mind away. When you listen to This Is a Test, this is not a test. Like, oh my God, she's rhyming her ass off. So like, to Missy Elliott's credit, she personally put work into advancing her lyricism on that 3rd and 4th album, and she elevated lyrically.
Omega, I'm gonna let you make your final point.
Okay.
Make it quick.
All right, wrap it up real quick. Bahamadia, agree with. MC Light, agree with. Little Kim, I think, is a no. Not Little Kim. Lauryn Hill is a no. Not enough work. He is a no. I need at least 2 albums from you.
Now, wait a minute. Now, what about people argue that Biggie may not have had enough work, and some consider him to be the greatest.
But also, his impact was amazing. His impact changed hip hop, period, just like pop. So even though Lauryn Hill altered some things, what I'm saying is,
she didn't make an impact.
Not her place as an artist was impactful.
Okay.
Not her place as a rapper.
Just want to be clear.
different conversation.
Martine, I'll give you the right to anchor, sister, because we're talking about sisters here, and you're one of the dopest ones, so we'll give you the right to make the final point.
Right. So closing out, EMCEE Light, she taking home the crown. We got Lauryn Hill runner up. I mean, I get what he's saying. She definitely does not have like the amount of work that a lot of.
That's why you put EMCEE Light ahead of her.
But yeah, that's why I put EMCEE Light in front of Lauryn Hill, Queen Latifah, and honestly, I put Lil Kim right there just because she was the options. But I would probably put the Brat right there instead of Lil Kim. How Slangston, look, I'm gonna agree with Slangston. Like the Brat should definitely be up there because she got the crazy fire flows.
No one ranks Foxy Brown anywhere.
Foxy is
right
my
enough
favorite.
It's your favorite.
Foxy is my personal favorite. Yeah, Foxy is my
Jay-Z
favorite.
Okay.
Yo, there's a 12-inch that the Fugees put out in like 2004. Listen to Lauren's verse on the A side. One of the greatest verses ever written, period. That verse alone puts her in the discussion.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Just right before we wrap this up. If I take 23 pointers in my life and I make 15 out of those 20 over a 50-year period, am I a great three-point shooter?
Statistically, yeah.
Yes, but logically, am I a great three-point shooter?
You're just someone who doesn't take 3-pointers. Maybe it wasn't emphasized in the game at that time. We got to go Kareem Ali TV. Are you serious?
So I have to stand here today as what I was when I was born, a black man.
Your racism bounces off me, I'm bulletproof. Your prejudice gets deflected, I'm bulletproof. Your hatred can't penetrate me, I'm bulletproof. Our minds can't be shackled no more, nah, we know the truth. Yeah, from the spot that Malcolm stood, looking out through the window, I'm looking out over my hood.